Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Boo Review. We're talking about another horror classic in our series. New to horror. AJ's never. I would consider myself a horror veteran. I've seen a shitload of horror movies. Mm-hmm. You have not seen a lot of horror movies, so this is like all new to you. So we're gathering a new perspective on these horror classics.
That's right. And I watched A Nightmare on Elm
Street with your spirit animal, Freddy Krueger. So what did you think of Nightmare on Elm Street, the first one?
I think it's good, but I think it could have been better.
It could have been better. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so just letting you know right now, most people consider this the pinnacle of the Nightmare on Elm Street series.
No, that makes me a little nervous to venture forward. I at least want to watch number 3 and New Nightmare.
Yeah, watch 2. 2, I think 2
is often rated by most people the lowest.
And I think it's homophobia, man. I really think the reason why people like 2 is the homophobia. But let's go ahead. Let's go back to the first one.
Okay, so the first one.
Yeah.
I think it could be better.
I think it could be better. The first one. Okay, give me some positives about the first one.
I like the concept. I like the idea a lot. And hey, just like we let you know right after you get settled into these videos. Spoilers! Just before we keep going. But like there's some really nice shots. Like one of the very first shots in the movie where one of the people's asleep. It might be I don't think it's Nancy. I don't know who it is.
It's the first character.
But
first girl,
where like leans into the
yeah.
Like that is super good.
Yeah. Like, there's a lot of imaginative scenes in the movie for sure. Yeah.
There are, but I feel like.
Do you feel like it's not dream enough like some of these things that happen, or I thought they were. I don't even know why I'm suggesting that as a criticism because I thought they were pretty good.
I guess before. We've got to jump to the end before I can really evaluate the rest of the movie.
Go ahead.
Because I had to go look up things about the ending after I watched it, and I read that originally Wes Craven had intended it to have a happy ending, and that there was some conflict with the studio or producer or somebody about it not having a happy ending and being more open to sequels or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
So originally the ending was going to be Nancy comes out, her mom's like, have fun at school or whatever. She gets in the car, they drive off, and the whole movie has been a nightmare on Elm Street.
Right,
the whole movie's been a nightmare. I don't know how much of that is fan theory and how much of that is Wes Craven original intention. But of course what we got is she gets in the car is Freddy because it's got the top and drives off wherever, at least it's part of Freddy's creation.
Well, I guess
then Freddy pulls the mom through the window.
Well, I guess you could say that it has all been a nightmare because it ends and it's been a nightmare. So maybe it's still the nightmare's still going. Or whatever. Maybe she wakes up after that. I don't know. It is weird. It is a weird ending, I would say.
Yeah, because you've got the whole movie and it's because of that ending and that theory that leaves me a lot of ambiguity on what's a dream and what's not. I guess I should consider it in terms of the third one.
You kind of have to throw a lot of horror movies in general, and just like they get surreal, and sometimes you just have to throw suspend your disbelief completely, just whatever. I know sometimes it's really irritating if something like breaks its own rules or whatever, but I don't think this breaks any of its own rules. It could be a nightmare, whatever. And it's at the end of the movie. It's just really opening up sequels. The movie's done at this point, so it never really bothered me. Yeah,
but in terms of what's generally accepted as happening in the movie, is Nancy waking up and going to sleep all these different times? Is that the general accepted canon of the movie? No. Well, in her mind, whenever it's dealing with her, but with other characters, it's dealing with them. It's not her mind when it happens to them or whatever. That's their. But see, I feel like that breaks the idea of the theory that it's all a bad dream of Nancy's and they're all alive at the end. If you went with that original idea, that breaks that because how does she?
I think plot wise, it's that he goes around and gets into your dreams, kills you in your dreams, ends up killing you in real life, and in the end, she is. And the movie is definitely not all in Nancy's head. Right? No.
Okay.
No, it's not intended that way anyway. Okay. Just that ending. I guess she went back to sleep.
All right. Well,
that is the weird thing about the ending is then her mom is attacked, and it's like, why is her mom? Because her mom's pulled through the door. It's like, so is that her mom? mom's dream? Is her mom dreaming this? Yeah, there's a lot of questions.
There's like just a lot of stuff happening.
Yeah.
But like, otherwise, when you get through the movie, it looks really silly and cheesy when he made his arms longer. But then after the fact, when I watched the movie, I was like, oh, that scene's kind of cool.
I would argue that it's really cool scene because it feels like dream logic.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
And that would creep me out, especially as a kid, like having someone with really long arms in the shadows coming at you. I think that's very freaky.
That's a scene that after the fact I accepted more as a very dreamy
dream quality for sure. Yeah.
I liked that a whole lot.
In terms of, in fact, I would say that this one compared to the rest of the movies, because the rest of them do feel like more like fun, gory shocker slashers. That I enjoy that a lot. Myself, but this one actually feels, out of all of them, it feels like they're actually going for like a dream feeling with the things that happen. They're great, like they're the two teens that are making love in the beginning and or somewhere in the start or whatever. She's dreaming and she's literally floating up and she's being killed across the top of the yeah. I was like, that it's such a great shot how they did that, and then like it just looks amazing. Yeah, Johnny Depp's death in it whenever he gets he gets thrown in and then the blood comes out or whatever. It's just amazing. It's almost beautiful, really. And then like you said, like the arm stretched out or whatever. It's just
there's a bunch of really creative scenes like that give it that dreamlike quality that couldn't happen.
The thing coming out, being in like a weird boiler, like the furnace or whatever, which is
which I guess
they explained this one in this one, right? That he was that the parents.
Like there's a point where Nancy comes out, she has this hat, and then she's like, "Oh no, that's just a silly thing or whatever." Right. It's like, no, it's got a name in it. It said, they also call him Fred Krueger.
Oh, do they?
Like, they never actually call him Freddy. The nursery rhyme says 1, 2, Freddy's coming for you.
Right. Gotcha.
But they only ever refer to him as Fred Krueger.
Right. They expand on the mythology of Freddy as the series goes on. If you enjoy the Freddy mythology, it's very enjoyable.
But then like she was like, no, whatever, blah, blah, blah. You're crazy, Nancy. Yeah. And then later she was like, no, Nancy. Actually, Fred Krueger was a dude. But he can't be coming after you because I killed him. Yeah. He's like, me and some of the other parents. He was a child killer. We tracked him down and we killed him.
That is one thing.
And then we tracked him to his shed. We covered it in gasoline and we burned him.
That's one thing about
all that's left is this glove that she has downstairs.
That's the thing about all the Nightmare on Elm Street is very strange to me, is that Freddy Krueger is supposed to be a child killer, right? It makes him like a terrible villain or whatever, but he never goes after children in the whole series, I guess because there's an element of that you kind of want to like Freddy to a degree. Like as the series goes on, you want to be able to enjoy his antics because he gets really cartoony. So I think they did that on purpose to be like, he doesn't, he's a child killer, but he's not really killing her. And they could have I feel like they almost hinted that maybe he was like a child, like it was a pedophilic element to Freddy that they don't expound on at all, or whatever. That would make him extremely unlikable, and then the other movies just wouldn't work with Freddy or whatever. The idea of him being like a child killer, if they didn't go further than that and he was just a child killer, thinking about that, watching the other movies makes it very unenjoyable. Like you have to think about him as a teenager killer. That's not really any better.
Past the first movie, do they never reference him and violence towards children again past the first movie?
They don't. He does some fucked up shit that's weird, but nothing towards children. No, I don't think so. There's always that element that he's probably capable of doing that. I think maybe part 5. I can't
because like in the like the whole idea in the first movie is as a man, not as this dream demon, but as a man, he abducted and killed children, and then the parents of the neighborhood burned him alive inside of his shack to kill him.
Yeah,
and then somehow
inside like the boiler rooms, furnace place, or whatever that he's in.
Like whatever his shack is, they just said that they lit the whole thing on fire. In the first movie. I think later canon is like they threw his body into a boiler, because I saw like a little bit whenever I was looking up the first movie.
They actually go deeper into his mythology in both 5 and 6.
And then like the whole deal with the first movie is whenever he comes back and he's going through these dreams, he's going after surviving kids from the parents that killed him.
Right. Yeah. Okay. So that makes a little sense. I think another reason why they chose child killer is for like, even though as kids growing up in the 80s and 90s, we weren't supposed to be watching these movies. it makes it scarier for you as a kid watching these movies because you're like, oh, he's a child killer. He's gonna kill me. So that I think that's one of the reasons why they went with child killer.
It may have just been like
it's always been a weird thing.
It's
with
possible
movies. I love
Freddy.
series,
That Freddy was never meant to be likable if it was a one-off movie.
Possibly, yeah. It's possible that the first movie is just intentional. Like he is just creepy. He's scary. He is a child killer. Maybe something more like fuck this guy. He's scary. You don't want him in your dreams. But as the series goes on, he becomes more jokey, and it just becomes like
as the studio pushes for more and more Freddy movies.
Sequels, you have to have some like a likable protagonist.
Like the only recurring character is Fred.
Well, Nancy shows up
in 3
and in
New Nightmare. That's what I was thinking. At the least, I would watch those and get the Nancy story.
Yeah, I would say, like I've said before, I think that I don't know if you'll like 3. I love 3. 3 feels like Evil Dead, more like Dead Alive, that style of like zany gore.
It's possible I might not like it at all, but it's just the one that's part of the story.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it a lot. 4 feels a lot like 3. It feels like another 3. And I actually enjoy it, but it's gross, man. There's some gross deaths. I know you probably would enjoy it. 5 is boring to me. The ending is cool because they expand on his mythology, but it's to me, I remember it being very dull. 6 is the most cartoony one out of all of them. Freddy's Dead. It just feels like a Looney Tunes cartoon. I enjoy it for that reason, but it's definitely the most cheap. Feels like the most cheap out of all of them. New Nightmare is fantastic. I really enjoyed Freddy vs. Jason, and the new reboot sucks. You know my review, but now they know. But
Nightmare on Elm Street. It's pretty good.
I love Nightmare on Elm Street. I love that it's a dream. He's a dream killer. I think this dream sequence was very effective. I think it set out what it was trying to do.
I love the idea of the dream killer.
Yeah. So, but you don't think it didn't go far enough, or it didn't, or was it? It was too what? It just.
I don't. It's really hard for me to put my finger on it exactly. Like.
This you should watch some more of the sequels and just see what you think about it. The sequels are definitely more about the creative kills. 3 has some really good characters you actually root for, surprisingly.
Really?
Like I like the kids in 3, and that's one of the reasons people put it so high. It's because the kids are likable and they suffer these horrible like deaths. They're really creative, and like it's almost conflicting, that movie. Like you're watching it and you're going like, yeah, these kids, and it's like, this is rare. I don't usually like the kids, and then when they die, you feel conflicted because you're like, oh, that was really cool looking, wow, but that character, So that one's a good one, yeah, for sure.
I don't know, like, man, the more I think back on it, there are a lot of dream sequences.
There's a lot of cool. I think there's a lot of cool
and stuff like that, but it's just
Johnny Depp's death is freaking beautiful. And I like the whole last part too, where they're in the house and it's all like rotting, like she steps on the thing and it rots away under her feet and stuff like that. I thought that was really cool.
The part where where she pulls Freddy out.
Yeah, right before that. Yeah, that happens in that one, right? Or am I getting the memories mixed up? I remember there's a scene where she steps on the steps and it goes through the steps, right? And like she's like stuck and she's trying to get up the steps, or is that another?
Oh no, that does happen in the first one.
Woof. Okay.
Because she wants Johnny Depp to call and wake her up, but he can't because he died.
I think I think Halloween, even though you take some of the silly elements of 2, I think 2 is good in that way too, about having some really cool sequences. That's the best part of the series, is just watching the dream sequences and seeing how they die. Whatever. It's fun. It's a fun series for sure. It's the most creative out of all the like if you're watching these movies for the kills, they're the most creative. They're the most like entertaining out of any other series. I would think.
Maybe I wish there was just more stuff in the movie that was slightly messed up. Like whenever, like in terms of like
usually you're the other way around.
Reality. Oh, like whenever the face leans into the wall when she's in the bathtub and the hand comes up, but then goes back away.
You would think it was actually more dreamlike than it is, more surreal. Dream sequences in movies usually are never dreamlike enough to me either. I totally know what you mean, because I'll be watching and it'll be a dream sequence and it'll be it makes too much sense. Their dreams make too much. Maybe I just have weird dreams, but my dreams are so very surreal, and they're always kind of like based in reality to a degree, but there's something weird and off about it.
Yeah,
it's subtle, and that's why I kind of like the sequence where his arms are long, because that just feels like something like, wow, his arms are there, they're real, they're long, why are they long? Like that kind of subtle things usually how dreams are. They're like, because your brain's trying to make sense. If something makes sense about it to convince you that this is real, and you're not really aware of yourself yet. You're not lucid dreaming yet, but there's just something off. And I guess you're right. There could have been more sequences that were more like the long arm sequence,
that are just kind of subtly off,
or like an actual dream,
or that start out really normal, but the further it goes, it would have to be a longer sequence. But the further that it goes, the more and more you're like, what? what?
The dream sequences in the sequels are more like they're based on who the character is. Like, you know, like they're kind of like a stereotype or well, not all of them, but some of them they have like a thing. Like there's one that's like a comic book. He's into comic books, so the dream sequence is comic book based or whatever. Or there's a dream sequence with like someone who's into like wizard stuff, so their dream is like based on that. Some of them are a little bit more, you know, just in general dreams. But yeah, it's so. Yeah, I agree. I think, and that's a problem for all movies. The only movie that I think is actually super effective at being like a dream is the movie Eraserhead. The whole movie is a dream.
Is it?
It's just like a dream. It's amazing. Like I love Eraserhead so much.
And it comes from the brain fish of David Lynch.
David Lynch, yeah, man.
Doesn't he talk kind of like that and talk about the brain fish? He just unfocuses his mind, and then the ideas
that's not David Lynch.
Come in, swim through his brain, and he plucks the fish from the river.
I don't know what this is.
These ideas are coming to us all, bubbling up. Sometimes, I always liken it to fishing. Fishing. You have a desire for an idea. A desire, I say, is like a bait on the hook. So you desire an idea, and more often than not, the ideas will start coming.
This is my impression of Krindor's impression of David Lynch.
Hold on.
So it's coming down the line.
Yeah, it's coming down the line. I think so. It sounds more like a German person or something. Like,
I mean, I don't know what David Lynch sounds like. That's again my impression of Krindor's.
I kind of can see it a little bit, but it's like that's not him. He is weird. He's very.
I don't know if I could easily find you a copy of Krindor's impression because it's like in a podcast.
I don't know if you're ready or not, but you're new to horror. This is the new to horror series. So what should we do? Eraserhead? Should I push you that far deep? It's not. It's more. I would say it's more like a surrealist movie, but it does have creepy, horrific elements in it.
I don't know.
It's creepy. It's an art movie, and it's my favorite thing he's done. I've only seen that thing. I'm watching Twin Peaks now. I'm catching up on my David Lynch, but man, Eraserhead's. I can't tell you how much I love that movie. It's my top 5. I think if you watch my old horror movie, it's up there. It's great. So good.
I mean, I feel like the obvious next one for me to try is maybe like the first and second Friday the 13th because at least I need to get to the second one to see that Jason's actually in it.
Well, yeah, and I think the third one's when his mask appears for the first time or whatever. What? Yeah. His just mask don't appear till the third movie.
Spoilers! I didn't know that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're gonna.
I would just be like, "What the fuck? Where's the mask?" Like in the first one, I would accept it because.
Well, I'm kind of glad you told you that because my first time watching the second one, I really didn't enjoy it that much, and this second time I watched it with my sister. She was really scared watching it, and it was so enjoyable watching her.
So he's just a dude walking around.
He's got a bag over his head. It's good. It's good. I've really enjoyed it. And I watched it again. There's some really hilarious stuff. But yeah,
I really feel like out of like these classics, that Friday the 13th might be the one that's like least my jam.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so. But the first one, man, is pretty good. It's got some creepy moments in it, and it's. I'm not gonna tell you anything because I know you haven't seen it yet. But it's good. There's some cool stuff in it. But yeah. I enjoy the Friday the 13th series a little bit more than like Halloween because it speaks more to my sense of like fun watching these movies, and Halloween's a little bit more serious. But because it's not creepy to me, it just ends up boring me. So yeah. But anyway, are you gonna do the Child's Play? My favorite series.
I've seen the first one.
Oh, okay.
We watched it. I think maybe me, you, and Chase watched it.
Did we? For real?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. How'd you feel about that?
I didn't really like it.
Okay. Okay. Well, then that's.
It didn't win me over. I was just like. I couldn't suspend enough disbelief to believe that a doll could cause this much chaos. I think at one point somebody does kick the shit out of it, and I'm like, why not? It's a doll. It comes at you with a knife. You stomp the shit out of it. Maybe you take a cut.
They actually play that for more comedic effect than like Bride of Chucky because they're like, this isn't real. He's a freaking doll, you know. But I don't know. I thought the first one had some creepy scenes, especially that scene where he rolls under the bed and she's like checking underneath it. Like that scared the shit out of my sister. Like young. But yeah,
it's hard for me to remember. I mean, I feel like there was probably some
your enjoyment
scenes,
of Child's Play completely depends on how much you like Chucky as a out of all the. And if you don't like Chucky, you don't. Well, then there you go. That's how I fucking love Chucky, and the reason why is because out of all the horror people, he's like the most like a person. He's the most who just gets angry at shit and feels like somebody that you that would easily get angry at stuff. And he's funny. He's hilarious. I love Chucky to death. But if you don't like Chucky, then Child's Play might not, I guess, would work for you. Mm-hmm. But man, he's that whole series is my favorite out of all the killer people. Child's Play is hands down my favorite because of how much I love Chucky. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess we should cut it off there. And thank you everybody for watching this review of A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Is that the movie we're talking about?